Why do Japanese and Western ghosts scare us so differently? Imagine walking through a dark street and seeing a ghost. Now picture that ghost appearing in two different ways, one Western, one Japanese. Why do they make us feel so different? That's what we're about to find out. Western ghosts are usually the spirits of people who have died but still have unfinished business. They often look like transparent or shadowy figures, sometimes with visible features like glowing eyes or tattered clothes. Their stories tend to focus on revenge, tragedy, or unresolved issues. These ghosts are often straightforward in movies, appearing suddenly to scare or warn. They relying on clear visual threats and jump scares that make us jump out of our seats. Japanese ghosts, or Yūrei, and supernatural beings like Yokai come from a different world of stories. They can be spirits of humans, animals, or even objects. Their appearances are often strange and symbolic. Think of long black hair covering a pale face or a white kimono that flows naturally. These ghosts are less about clear stories and more about atmosphere and mystery. They often don't have a clear reason for being there, which makes them more unsettling. Their motivations are sometimes unclear, making us feel uneasy because we don't fully understand them. Culturally, Japanese horror draws from ancient stories, folklore, and traditional theater like no and kabuki. These influences give Japanese ghosts a mythic, timeless feel. Western ghosts, on the other hand, often reflected modern fears or moral lessons. For example, Western stories might focus on justice or punishment, while Japanese stories emphasize emotional and spiritual symbolism. Technology also plays a role. Japanese horror movies often use modern devices like cursed videotapes or haunted phones. These connect ancient fears with today's technology, making the horror feel more personal and immediate. Western horror tends to keep supernatural elements separate from technology, treating them more as tools for storytelling. Because of these differences, Japanese ghosts create fear through mood, symbolism, and psychological tension. They linger in our minds because they feel mysterious and strange. Western ghosts tend to be more direct, with clear threats and visible scares that make us jump. When filmmakers remake Japanese horror in Western style, they sometimes lose that subtlety and cultural depth. The fear becomes more straightforward but less haunting. Japanese horror's focus on atmosphere and symbolism makes it feel more profound and unsettling. Western ghosts often relying on clear stories and visual scares, which can be effective but less mysterious. So, the next time you watch a horror movie from Japan or the West, remember that these differences come from their cultural roots and storytelling traditions. That's why Japanese ghosts can stay with you long after the movie ends, while Western ghosts might just give you a quick scare.